Go.
Okay. We're doing a speech?
Okay.
Okay. The CDC states that the average American child, ages 10 to 15, spends a whopping 9 hours a day, not including educational activities on or in front of a screen. That is more than the amount of time of a full-time job. Now this is the average, so much more kids are spending more than that, which is absolutely outrageous. Think of all of the wasted time that is, and the amount of skills that child could have learned during that time, and the amount of skills that child's not learning during that time. I have the credibility to give this speech because I have done many hours of research on this topic, and also I'm a kid in today's society, and I see the kids that are on their phones a lot, and I know what it's like to be a teenager during this time. The points we will hit today is how bad the technology problem is, the pros and cons of technology, and a way to fix these problems. Let's get into it. The CDC says that ages 6 to 10-year-olds spend 6 hours a day on average, 11 to 14-year-olds spend 9 hours a day on average, and 15 to 18-year-olds spend 7.5 hours a day on average in front of screens. And again, this is not including educational activities. Well, one of the questions posed is, don't parents already know this? Most parents actually don't already know this because the kids are spending time in their bedrooms on it. The kids are spending time away from their parents, where the parents may think that they're playing with toys. They're actually on their iPads and things. So parents a lot of the times don't actually know how much time the kids are spending on their iPads and TVs and screens. A study done by InternetMatters.org this year shows that 75% of children say that technology and the internet are important for their independence. This is a scary statistic because these are things that parents aren't monitoring on their things that the kids are claiming as their identity. Now that we understand what the problem is, what are the outcomes of this issue? If done right, there are many advantages to electronics. Some people learn visually, so there are many things that people can learn on a video or online that they wouldn't otherwise be able to learn. For instance, they can learn things that people around them don't know, as if a kid wanted to learn how to woodwork, but they live where nobody knows how to woodwork, they can teach themselves that online. Also, communication. There's nothing can replace face-to-face communication. However, a lot of the times communication online is a lot better than no communication at all. This gives families the ability to reach out to long-distance family members that otherwise the kids wouldn't have been able to have any relationship with. And Google can have many advantages for any child. Any information in the entire world is at their fingertips. Now, while this could be a very good thing when it comes to education and learning, there are also disadvantages. This leads us to the disadvantages of technology. Let's start with Google. Just because, even though there are advantages to having any information at your fingertip, there are also disadvantages. With Google, kids can get into things that are not age appropriate or not appropriate at all. Think about, as you an adult, how many times you've clicked on something that wasn't what you expected. The same thing is happening to your kids. This could definitely not be their fault and it's not their intention, but they're having access to it anyway. There's innocence of a child, things that you know would be inappropriate for you to click on. The kid doesn't understand that. Jill Christensen from Mayo Clinic Health lists many things that are disadvantages to kids on technology. Number one, one of the biggest problems, one of the most reasons we have obesity in the nation right now is because of the amount of technology. Because kids are getting substantially less exercise and mindless munching while on TV. I mean, how many times do you sit with a bag of chips and watch your TV? Like, your kids are doing the exact same things. They're getting less exercise and more food. Behavioral issues. Behavioral problems. Studies show that when kids spend more than 2 hours, which is the suggested time via the CDC, a day on screens, are 40% more likely to develop emotional, social, and attention problems. Violence. Exposure to violence in media, especially video games, are desensitizing children to it. This is making them think that these are adequate solutions to their problems because what they do all day is sit online and play shoot-'em-up games. They won't know any difference. And finally, also in academics, kids who spend more than 2 hours a day on academics or on technology have substantially less progress in academics. Behavioral issues in kids are linked to instant gratification that kids get on a screen. This is where we get to the new generation of quote-unquote iPad kids. The kids are getting instant gratification in a way that no other generation has gotten yet. Skipping to the good parts of movies and videos is one way of instant gratification. Things like TikTok is just dose after dose of good things and happiness. Coin rewards in video games is also a big reason for this. Kids get rewarded for doing things like sitting on an iPad all day long. Instant gratification of completing things even if it's worthless and took 5 seconds. In video games, just that thing of, I did this, even if it's absolutely worthless and took him 2 seconds and has no meaning, that gives the kid gratification. So what can we do to fix this? 100%, this is in the parents' hands. Now obviously as you get older that gets a little bit different, but especially for the small children, it is 100% in the hands of the parents. How will kids know? How will kids know that technology and all of this is not okay if the parents are also addicted to their phones? John Halsworth from Exploding Topics says that 71% of Americans spend more time on their phone than they do with their significant other. 47% of adults admit to being addicted. They are addicted. This is how many people admit to being addicted. And the average American adult checks their phones 392 times a day. Think about how many times that is. How will kids know? How will kids know that this is not okay if all they see is their parents sitting on the couch scrolling on Facebook, or their parents get home from work and turn on the television and they're expected to go play while their parents are watching TV and playing on their phones? The kids won't know any difference. Some of the very effective ways of getting kids to break this addiction are not allowing screens in the bedroom. This is helpful for many reasons. Number one, the parents can actually see how much time the kids are on their phones and iPads and TVs, because that's one of the main problems is the parents don't know. Also, out of that environment, the parents are much more likely to actually monitor what the kids are doing. How would they monitor it if they're a couple bedrooms down and are totally even mindless, that totally don't even know that the kids are in there doing that? Monitoring is very helpful in this situation. Also, just saying no. Encourage or tell them to go play outside, go get dirty. Now that could be taken as a literal term or as a figure of speech. Even if you're in the city, that doesn't mean that the kids can sit on their phones all day also. They can go play with other things, go play with blocks, go play with puzzles. Or if you have the opportunity to, send their kids outside. You do other things. If you are on their phone, they're going to be on their screens. If you are reading, they'll know to read. If you're cooking, they'll cook. If monkey see, monkey do. That's what kids do. And with that, we will conclude. The average kid ages 9 to 15 spends 9 hours a day on the screen. That is more than a full-time job. This, of course, technology can have benefits in the modern world, but it has many disadvantages that most people don't know about. Too much technology, or technology used in the wrong way, can have mental, physical, and social harm. Wasting your life on a screen is not what God intended for his people, and therefore should not be what you intend for your children. This problem will only get worse if parents don't stop it.